Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. How are we all? Have you recovered from watching the program last night? If you did watch it, I know some of you have watched it, some of you haven't watched it, and probably just wait because we're going to watch it together. I think it'd be it'd be just as annoying watching it together, but it'd be good because we can have a little rant about it all. So I watched it. Of course, we're an hour ahead here, so it was an hour later. Otherwise, I would have done this sort of after the program, but I just wanted to be fresh when I did it, and I knew I wouldn't be fresh at sort of 11:30 at night or whatever time it would have ended up after the program last night. So what I've done since then is I've thought about it today. I've not been on the YouTube at all today. What I've tried to do is not look at anybody else's. Well, I've obviously your comments that come through on YouTube to me. I've seen. I've had a load of emails. I'm sorry, I haven't replied to emails because there were just so many. And then I went off. I took the dogs out. I had a nice day. Went round to my friends, etc. I just wanted to disconnect from it to think about tonight and where this was going to go. So I haven't watched it again. I did think about sort of doing the video today so I could just, the commenting on it today. But I haven't watched it again. So I've just watched it last night, and then I'll be watching it again with you all, and just saying whatever occurs and whatever things have occurred to me since then. I know from the comments that I had just about, unsolicited comments, if you like, not because I hadn't even done a video on it, just comments that people were making that nobody was really happy with it. Nobody's put a comment on saying, "Oh, that was fantastic, that documentary last night. I'm glad, that they put that on. That's really solved all these unanswered questions." It obviously didn't. It was totally, what was the point of it? What was the actual point of it? So, that's something we're going to think about. So the police didn't take part. Peter Folding didn't take part. So this was wasn't it about the police? I don't think it wasn't about absolving the police. This was about the media. They were sort of absolving themselves, weren't they? But it was strange because it was so different from the previous video that was on where Paul was interviewed. And they also lied, didn't they? They said that there'd be unseen footage from Paul's interview. There was no unseen footage from Paul's interview. There were no questions answered, that unsolved questions answered. It was all the hype. Talk about clickbait. YouTube, social media in general gets into trouble or gets a bad, people saying, "Oh, it's clickbait, it's clickbait." If you even mention Nicola Bulley's name, but nothing was more clickbait than that documentary promising things that just didn't come through at all. So it'd be like me putting a video on and saying I was going to show you that documentary and then not showing it. It's just like awful. So that's just the start. But anyway, before we start, I think that's one thing we can all agree on, isn't it? That it wasn't, didn't answer questions. It wasn't useful for anything really. But anyway, we're gonna watch the documentary and we're gonna comment on it, or I'm gonna comment on it. You're gonna comment on it here as well. And I just want to say before I'm going to say hello to everyone in a minute, but I just want to say, remember to keep your comments respectful, not only to me, but to each other, because we have common opinions about some things, but we have different opinions about other things, mainly Peter Folding. So we all have our opinion about Peter Folding, and all our opinions we're entitled to. So, there's no point thinking just because you think one way about him that everybody else should feel the same way. We have to respect the fact that some people don't feel the same way as us, including me. So say your comments, say what you think, but be respectful. Be good boys and girls. Be good boys and girls. And I'll try and be a good girl. I'll try my best. I won't swear, I promise. Okay, let's just say hello to everybody, because there's going to be a lot of people on this live. And I know I don't have to tell my regular chatters this about being respectful, because you always are respectful. But, you know, sometimes people come in and maybe they don't know the way this chat works, not like maybe other chats. So just be respectful to each other. And, you know, let's see. I don't know, it's not going to change the world. It's not going to change anything else, but it makes us feel better that we can talk about it unfettered and say what we think. And nobody's going to judge us for whatever our opinion is. Okay, so Chumba was first. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Jackie with a CQ. Hi, DMV. I know DMV particularly is annoyed. Hi, Catherine. Hi, David. Hi, Selena. Hi, Tina. DMV, I hope you got your burgers finished. Hi, Carla. People are already moaning about it before I even started the live. About the video, I mean, about the documentary. Hi, Julie Dawn. Hi, Wendy Wu on the big telly tonight. Yeah, get your red thongs ready for Valentine's Day. Who was it said that? Ah, the 14th Red Thong Day. David, have you got your red thong ready? Hi, Eve. DMV, that is the problem. Like, DMV has said she was texting her mum, going, oh God, can you believe this? And her mum's probably like, what? You know, because I know exactly what you mean. I do that with my friends and family. And I go, oh, yeah. And they're just like, you know, they've not followed it. And they're, you know, they're just like, don't know anything about it. So they just think I'm mad. Yeah. Selena's not recovered yet. Oh, thank you. Do you like my necklace? Thank you. I'm a mixture of colours today. Oh, I'm a bit colourful, you know. I've got my blue nail varnish, black top, and red bra, and multicoloured necklace. Be a bit colourful. Try and cheer me up. Hi, Charlie. Well, you're in for a treat, Charlie. If you haven't watched it, Charlie's not watched it yet. Hi, Julie Ashmore. Hi, Jim. Lucky Jim. Hi, Ruth, Gary. Hi, Laurie. DMV, I haven't read all the emails yet. You did email me quite, but you weren't the only one, DMV, let's just say. So that's why I got a little bit overwhelmed with the emails last night. But I started answering them this morning. I just thought, oh my God, it's going to take me about 2 hours. So I'm sorry about that. I wasn't being rude. Hi, Sarah Simmons. Hi, Amanda Jane. There was some interesting things in it, but not interesting in a good way. That's the point. You know, there was things that we're going to find interesting, or I found interesting, but they weren't interesting in a good way, like, you know, helping with the Nicola Bulley thing, or they were interesting for all the wrong reasons. Hi, Nick. Hi, Susan. Hi, Jane. Hi, Yvonne Payne. Yeah. Hi, Karen. I might have said hello to Karen, I can't remember. Hi, Annie Brown. Yeah, see, look, everyone is, you can see how it. Hi, Pauline. Hi, Eve, just in case I haven't said hello to you. In the end, I forget who I've said hello to or not. No, Susan, they didn't include the criticism of the mainstream media, did they? They didn't. There's so many things they didn't include. You might as well think, well, you know, what did they include, really? Yeah. Jim, my sonar's bigger than your sonar. Everyone's going to behave. Everyone's going to be good. Hi, Rio. Yeah, I hated that actress. I don't mean I hate the actress, poor woman. Hi, Ocean. I don't mean that because obviously I don't even know her. But what was the point? I don't understand why they used an actress. Because there was so much footage anyway. There's so much. I know there wasn't footage of Nicola actually there on her last walk, but it was horrible, horrible, horrible. Didn't like it. I didn't like the way they used a false bench and a false river. They didn't even use the right river. They didn't use the right river. They didn't use the right bench. Or occasionally they did, though. That made it even worse because sometimes they did use the right bench and the right river and the right dock. But, it's like, why not just, do you know what I mean? That's their job. They're supposed to be producers of videos. If I knew how to do videos better, I could make a documentary. But unfortunately, I don't know how to make videos very well. So, hi, Ellie. Hi, Illy. Ellie and Illy. DMV, we're all nuts about this case. We've got to leave it behind sooner or later, or it will drive us absolutely bonkers. Yeah, they didn't answer any unanswered issues. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you. Laurie saying I'm looking good. Thank you so much. Like my top. This was the top I wore on the Burns night, wasn't it? Thank you. Ocean, don't worry about ranting. Rant away. That's what this is for. We can all have a good rant. Oh, yeah. Hi, Desi. It was funny, wasn't it? Because they did have a little video of Penny on there. Well, one of Curtis's videos, which was quite funny, really, that that they actually used his video. But anyway, I hope they asked him for permission. Yeah, I didn't mention the gym gear. Oh, Ocean, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ocean. That's very kind. Yeah, the hair was completely wrong on that actress. It was so bleach blonde, if you like, and Nicola's hair just wasn't that colour. So it didn't even, I thought the Sally Riley actress did look like her from the back, if that was an actress, which I think it was. But I thought the Nicola one didn't even look like her, even from the back. Hi, Gail. Thank you, Ocean. That's really kind. Thank you so much. Okay, I think the gang's all here more or less. And hello to everybody who's watching at home. I know not everybody likes to join. There's a lot of people watching, so I know not everybody's actually in the chat. Thank you for watching at home. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers in general. I have to say my thank yous. Thank you to my members. Thank you to anyone who, like Ocean there, just sent me a super or bought me a coffee or supported my channel in any way, but just watching is enough. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing because that's absolutely free. And if you press subscribe and then the notification bell, then you'll always get notification of new videos coming out. Right. Yes. And please thumbs up. Please thumbs up. That's another free way you can help me out if you want to. Or thumbs down. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. So let's start. Shall we start? I mean, I wasn't expecting much from this video, I must say, from this program. But I think it was even more uninspiring than I thought it was going to be. The one thing that I was thinking that we might see is some unseen footage from Paul's interview. And I really think if they showed some unseen footage, it might help Paul out, because if he did get upset in that interview, a lot of people are suspicious of Paul because he wasn't emotional, was he, during that interview? And this could have been for all sorts of reasons. Maybe he just didn't want to break down in front of the camera. Maybe he just didn't. Maybe he was on sedation. Maybe he was just trying to hold it together. But I think his lack of emotion that is one of the reasons why people doubted him a little bit. But anyway, let's have a look at the program, and we'll take it bit by bit. Hi, Miss Hera. We'll take it bit by bit, and if I miss anyone coming in now, sorry, because I will probably be watching the video. But anyway, let's see. And I can see from what you're saying, some of you watched it already and some of you didn't watch it. So for some of you, it would be new. For some of you, like me, the first thing I didn't really like was this eerie music. This is not a film. They keep telling us this is a real person that we're talking about. So mainstream media keeps telling us this. And then they've got this eerie music and they're making it like a film. And it's only a year on. So, sometimes they do make programs like this, but it's normally quite a bit later on, I think, to make it a dramatization, if you like, of something. Now, I'd be interested, hi Persephone, I'd be interested to know if the family, the family, and we're never quite sure who we're talking about when we're talking about the family. Are we talking about just Paul? Are we talking about Paul and Louise? Are we talking about Paul, Louise, Ernie and Dot? We're never really quite sure who they mean when they say the family. But are we to assume that the family gave their permission for this documentary? Do you have to get permission from the family? Hi, Ali. Hi, Catherine. Do you have to you should have to get permission, probably. I don't know, to do a national documentary that's going out on mainstream media. Maybe they did. Maybe the family did give their blessing for it. So I don't know. And how can we find out? How can we find out anything? Hi, Tracy. So that's the problem. If we try and find out anything, we get called ghouls. But obviously, Channel 5 are not ghouls, though. No. We're ghouls. Social media is ghoul, but not mainstream media. No, they're not ghouls. Anyway, let's see.
It was a Friday morning, just a normal Friday morning.
A hair. It's just completely wrong. And this, again, this thing about the bobble hat. So many people say she was wearing it, but she wasn't wearing a bobble hat when she got into the car that morning, or at least according to the CCTV, she wasn't. And then God, what's her name? Holly Bone. She said she was wearing a bobble hat. It's just one of those things. Now, not only this is not the real Nicola, but this is not St. Michael's, is it? So why did they do that? I can honestly say I do not understand why they did not, obviously they couldn't use the real Nicola, but why they did not go to the real place. What is this? It's horrible, I think, to be honest. Just don't like it at all. Hi, Mark. Oh. Thank you, Nick. That's really kind of you. Yeah, I did get away from it today. I took the dogs for a walk. I'm still wary of taking the dogs for a walk after all this, because it's very lonely where I take the dogs for a walk. But it's very open and that. So I did. I got out in the sun and it was really, really nice. But thank you so much for that, Nick. That's very kind. Thank you. So here we go. There is a lot of passing traffic. Loads of passing traffic. I don't know how to speed it up, Carol A, to be honest. I can't. I don't think I can, because I'm just. But I could. I need to, maybe what I need to do. If it goes off again, I'm definitely coming off. I'm going to come off and I'm going to do the rest of it in a video. Okay, so if I do go off again, I'm going to come off and I'm going to do the rest in the video and then upload the video afterwards. So just to let you know that, but I'll try and do it so it doesn't.
Which was another theory. Someone from outside.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.